Hi everybody, well I did promise a precision gloves explainer video and I finally managed to get them all together here, so here we go. There's just really so much choice when it comes to goalkeeper gloves nowadays that it's hard to know which pair might suit you best. So what I'm going to do today is kind of run you through all these precision gloves that I have here that we use, and while they have many features common to them all, they're all actually slightly different also, like when it comes to the latex, the construction, the fit, and essentially the hand and the finger type that's going to be going into them and actually using them. Now, with these ones here, I kind of can divide the gloves into two sections straight away. And that's because these ones here, these are called the Fusionx 3D gloves. On the top here and on the bottom, you have the Elite 2.0. So what I'm going to do first of all is look at these Fusionx 3D gloves. Now, all of this is personal opinion. I've never read any marketing blurb. There's no right and wrong so here. But the first thing that I note about the Fusion gloves is the structure of the glove. Look at the way they're naturally curved, even when they're lying here on my hands. The fingers of all the gloves are curving up in the air compared to, say, this one. I won't say the brand, but it's not a non-precision glove. Just to show you the difference, this one's kind of flat, absolutely no structure to it, and these ones are curved almost to match the shape of a football. And then when they're on your hand, you essentially want to bring or mold your fingers into that slightly curved position. And on the back of the Fusionx 3D gloves, you can see they're really strong and thick material. It's almost like an exoskeleton. Well, this is what's going to hold these gloves into that very curved look throughout their lifetime. It's almost like they're pre-tensioned and kind of ready to go. So who would the Fusionx 3D gloves suit? Well, if you're a keeper who really wants their hands to be protected front and back and almost molded into that slightly curved catching position, then, or if you've got weak fingers and need a bit of help, or if you tend to stub your finger or get your fingers bent back, you know, from time to time by a shot, and you feel you need a little bit more protection, then you should be looking at one of these Fusionx 3D gloves. So let's talk about the latex in the gloves, because I see loads of promotional videos of goalkeeper gloves where keepers basically pick up the ball one-handed and the ball, you know, the glove sticks to the ball almost magnetically. Yeah, that is impressive, like, but there's no glove in the world like that's going to match a wet, muddy GA goal mouth where you're going to be doing that with an O'Neill's ball. I'm looking more at the quality of the latex, the actual grip in real life GA, the thickness, the durability, the lifetime of the gloves especially, because there's nothing worse than buying a pair of gloves, wearing them a few times, and next thing you see the latex wearing away in chunks and holes appearing in the fingers. Every keeper knows that story. There's actually 3 different types of latex in these gloves, I think, but go with me here, I'll do my best. So the orange one here, this is what is called a contact latex, and this one actually comes with a plastic covering on it when you buy them new, and you have to peel off the plastic. Might have little bits on the side here, but you peel off the plastic, and these ones are really tacky when they're new. Now, yeah, all gloves are tacky when they're new, but these ones are super tacky. Now I'll come back to each glove individually in a minute, but just on the latex, these green ones here, these have what's called a giga latex, slightly different. And these black ones here have what's called a quartz latex and has a kind of a speckled look. Which is the best latex? Well, I'm shaking my head here because I've used all these gloves in all the versions, caught thousands of balls in all sorts of conditions, and hand on heart, I can't pick a glove and say this latex is better than that latex. They're all excellent. The grip in the wet and the dry is so similar. The thickness of them all is 4mm, which is brilliant. They're not flimsy. And I challenge really any keeper in a blind test to be able to tell the difference between the latex types either. As simple as that. It's personal preference. They're all excellent. And look, I wouldn't be choosing my glove based solely on the latex. That would be the wrong thing to do. Now when you come to choosing your glove, actually the one that's right for you, I think the fit to your hands and your fingers is a much more important thing. Now, I've already said these Fusionx 3D gloves are really strong and supportive and curved and almost sprung, ready for action, but the construction of these 3 gloves is actually different, and they're all designed for different hands really. Like this orange one here, for instance, this is called the Precision Fusionx 3D Pro Negative glove, and this is what's called a negative cut glove, and that's because all the stitching that holds the fingers together is on the inside of the glove. So some of the space on the inside of the fingers is already basically filled up with stitching, and that generally will suit keepers with skinny fingers who like a nice tight snug fit into the gloves. They'll go for a negative cut glove like this one. Actually, another nice feature of these gloves here, see this area kind of between the fingers, between the front and the back? That's also, they're called gussets, and that's also made of latex. So even more surface area on this glove for grip. The green and white glove here, this is what's called, let me get this right, the Precision Fusionx 3D Pro Roll Finger Giga Latex. Roll finger means this here, if I just isolate one finger, look how the latex rolls all the way around the finger. That's a roll finger glove. But the key difference really with this glove is that the stitching is on the outside of the fingers, and essentially then you've got more room inside the gloves for bigger hands with bigger fingers. Kind of much the same applies for this glove. This one is called the Precision X 3D Pro Surround Quartz glove. Again, the stitching is on the outside, and there's mesh here between the fingers and the thumb. So again, keepers with wider hands and bigger fingers, they might go for options like these. So that is essentially the Precision Pro Fusionx 3D gloves covered. So let's go over next to these gloves, and these are called the Precision Elite 2.0 range. Now I'll get on to the construction of the gloves in a second, but again, within this range you've got different latex choices, like the green and the black ones here. These have the contact laces, same as the or latex, same as the orange one here. The white gloves, these have Giga Latex, and the lime green ones here, these have the quartz, speckled quartz latex. Now these gloves here, you can see a lot of them are well used because I actually love them, and I've had these green and black ones probably most of the year, and look, they're still in absolutely perfect condition. Now obviously I'm not hammering these around like a young keeper might, but I'm still catching hundreds, maybe thousands of balls at coaching and training, so I'm kind of amazed actually at how well they're wearing. Now if you look at the stitching on the Elite 2.0 gloves, you'll see that they're all negative cut. Again, that's the stitching on the inside, and remember with the Fusionx I said that negative cut suits skinny fingers, but in the case of the Elite 2.0, I would say these are different. They'll fit both thin and wide hands, thin and wide fingers, and that is because on the back of the glove you have a very stretchy fabric as opposed to the really strong latex on the Fusion range. So when you put your hand into an Elite 2.0 contact glove, the mesh stretches to fit the hand, and essentially it's locked in by the wider Velcro wrist strap at one end and the negative cut fingers on the other end. Now actually, while I'm on the subject of wrists, this is one of the things I like best pretty much about the Elite 2.0. My own wrists are really well beaten from years of football and rugby and all sorts of sports, and I'd actually usually wrap my wrist with a cohesive tape underneath the glove, but the way this wrist in the 2.0 extends down and wraps up tight gives great protection to the wrist. And like when I'm coaching, whether it's right or wrong, I usually give one whole month at the start of a year of training just to close quarter blocking down, and the keepers will tell you it's an absolute killer on the wrist. So that's where they love these Elite 2.0s, and I love them too, because that's where they come into their own really. And again, look at this, the latex extends down the wrist, so it's brilliant for blocking, super for protecting the wrist. But I think really the best feature about the Elite 2.0s is the fact that they give the hand and the fingers, I don't really know how to put this, but they give them more freedom to kind of express themselves, if that makes sense. The mesh on the back makes them lighter, and the stretch material means their hand doesn't feel as locked in as we'll say these type of gloves. So the transition, say, from going from an open palm for a catch to making a fist for a hand pass, it's quicker and easier. The glove isn't trying to fight your fingers or mold them into a position, if you get my meaning. So I would say the Elite 2.0s mean fastest fingers. So let's finish with what's my favorite glove. Well, as hopefully you'll have seen, these precision gloves, they all serve a purpose, but for me personally, the Elite 2.0s are the king for a GA glove for all the reasons I kind of mentioned. I like the one kind of unassuming look at the blackout with the contact latex. But my favourites, I would say they're these ones, what were they called? Kind of lime green with the quartz latex. They look the business. The quartz is brilliant in grip. I just love them. I hope all this makes sense to you and really helps you to choose your next pair of precision gloves. It's actually just a part of the range that I have here. There's pretty much a pair of gloves to cover every keeper and every hand and every price range. And if you have any query or comments, I can't say I'm an expert, but feel free to message me. I'll do my best to answer and find out what you need to know. Thanks everybody. Best of luck. Review done.